Hello, Blue Jays, and welcome to The Nest Stories about Life After Manor College. I am your host, Kelly Pfeiffer, Vice President of Marketing Communications, and this is the best part of my day. My hope is that this podcast will encourage, inform, and inspire you, making you feel like at Manor College, you belong here always. Did you know that Manor College now offers a practical nursing degree program? Started in 2023, this 70 credit program leads to an Associate of Science degree in practical nursing and prepares students to take the National Council licensure examination for practical nursing. This program can be completed in 15 months and combines hands on lab and clinical experiences with general education courses. It equips students with the knowledge and skills needed to work as LPNs or pursue a registered nurse RN degree. LPNs provide basic patient care under the supervision of RNs and doctors in various healthcare settings, including hospitals, nursing homes, doctors' offices. And so let's talk about what is the demand for an LPN. So the demand for an LPN right now in the greater Philadelphia area is pretty strong, driven by factors such as an aging population, the ongoing need for healthcare services, numerous facilities, including hospitals, nursing homes, healthcare agencies, are constantly seeking out qualified LPNs. And according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment rate is projected to grow 3% from 2023 to 2033, projecting that about 54,000 openings for LPNs will remain open on average year over year over the next 10 years. So there's certainly a lot of need for LPNs out there in the Philly area. And at Manor, we're really excited and grateful to be offering an LPN program to hopefully fulfill some of those workplace needs out there. So, having a career as an LPN lends itself to a lot of flexible work. There's flexible shift options, there's per diem work. So, this is a really good career if someone is looking to have a flexible job with their life. So, maybe they're a parent or a caregiver, or they have other things going on in their life where they need some flexibility in their job. So, being an LPN is one of those jobs that really has a lot of options. So, if you or someone you know wants to learn more about Manor's LPN practical nursing program, I recommend you visit manor.edu and looking to get started today. Now, I am honored to welcome today's alumni guest. Today's guest embodies dedication, perseverance, and the power of education. Born and raised right here in Philadelphia in the Cheltenham area, our guest is a proud graduate of Cheltenham High School, earning an Associate of Arts degree in psychology from Manor College in 2012. While at Manor, she found herself busy helping other students as a tutor and was a finalist for our prestigious Mother Josephat Medal Award. After Manor, she continued her education at Chestnut Hill College, and we'll talk about further other education that she pursued. Now, they are making a difference in the lives of young learners every day. Currently, as a first grade teacher with the School District of Philadelphia, working at Northeast Community Propel Academy. Please join me in welcoming a true testament to the transformative power of education, a proud Manor College alumni, and a passionate educator, Janay Watts. Welcome, Janay.
Hi, thank you for having me.
You are welcome. It's a pleasure to talk to you today. So, kind of start us off by sharing with us, how did you first find out about Manor College and why did you choose to attend?
So, I found out about Manor through my sister, who I believe at the time was a coach. So, her name was Sharia Watt. She used to work at Manor. I think she was a cheerleading coach. And I was having trouble just going to school in general. I had a really rough time at Lincoln University for the first year and I dropped out. And then I started working. And she found Manor and she said, "You know what? I think this would be a really good fit for you. It's small." She said they cater to their students. And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll try it." And when I think I started my first class, I absolutely fell in love with how small it was, how easy it was to get help when I needed the help, because most big universities are kind of like figure it out, and I come from Cheltenham High School where it's small, but it's not that small. Um, so that's how I got there, and I loved it. I excelled there once I really. started taking classes.
Oh, that's great. That's great to hear that you felt like it was, like, nurturing, and if I needed help, I could find help, and it wasn't too overwhelming. So I think that's a really big area of concern when students are first going to college. You're like, "Am I gonna be able to find help?" And not feel bad about asking for help. That's a really
Right.
important thing. That's great. So you said that you started working and then came to Manor. I think that's actually pretty common for a lot of students to take. Some might call it a gap year, couple gap years if it's more than one, but just like get your feet wet, start working a little bit, make some money, and then go to college. Is that kind of what happened for you? You kind of got out in the real world a little bit, working.
Yes, that's kind of what happened. So I started working at Macy's, and then it wasn't. No, actually, I'm telling a story. I worked at Best Friends Pet Care for a good 5 years. So Best Friends was over on Old Jerk Road or Eastern Road, where Urban Air used to be, where Urban Air is now.
Hmm.
So I worked there for 5 years, and then I got hurt, and I ended up getting fired.
Mm.
So, while I was working there, I was also working at Manor. When I started going to Manor, that's when I really started working at Manor as well. But I wasn't I wasn't fulfilled when I was just working at Best Friends Pet Care. Um, I was missing something, and I wasn't really happy.
Mm.
And that's when my sister told me about Manor, and I decided to go. So
Oh, good.
continued to still work there while I was going to school, and then picked up another job at Manor.
Sure, sure. Yeah. Well, that's great that you, well, not great that you weren't fulfilled, but great that you were able to like see that in yourself and realize it and be like, okay, what can I do? How do I better myself? And how do I kind of scratch that itch a little bit? And so many of our students work while they're in college. The stats around 85% of our students are working while being a student. And we believe close to half of them are working full time. So it is super common for students to, school's not the only thing going on in their life,
Right.
which kind of makes sense. So talk to me about what was it like being a Manor student? What was kind of take us back? What was it like for you? What would a day kind of look like in your life during that time?
Um, let's see. Well, when I started, I had to take the computer science class. That was one of the first classes that I had to take. And when I started taking the class, I'm like, okay, this could be easy. I'm pretty tech savvy. This isn't hard. But then I realized once she started, her name was Carolyn Wilson, I believe.
Hmm.
Once she started teaching us about Excel, everything, my grades started plummeting. And she looked at me and she said, "It's not as easy as you thought it would be, huh?" And I was like, "No, it's not." But she ended up like really showing me how to. I'm still horrible at Excel. It didn't change anything. But she ended up like helping me, and then my grades went back up. But
Mm,
that's how it was in every class. If you needed the help and your professor saw that you needed the help, they helped. They didn't
mm.
just let you sink. And then the next semester, she asked me if I wanted to tutor her kids, and that's how I became a tutor.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely. I think there's a good lesson there from, Carol Wilson talking about how, like, it's not as easy as you think, and if you need the help, we're gonna get you the help. But
Yeah,
obviously, you must have did pretty well if you're able to be a tutor, so don't beat yourself up too much, but, Excel is hard, but it's a good life skill to have.
right.
Everyone kinda uses it at some point, whether you're making a spreadsheet for work or making a budget for your own personal finances, it's something that we all kind of should have some kind of working knowledge in. So, talk to us about what was your relationship like with Manor professors and kind of what influence did they have on you?
They were very friendly, very motivating. A lot of times they saw something in me I didn't see in myself. So, um, my psychology professor, she would see the work that I would turn in, and she would just nudge and say, "You can do a little bit better. You can do a little bit better." And she was right, I could do a little bit better. Um, but they were your cheerleaders. They were always your cheerleaders, and I think that's kind of that's what helped a lot. That's what pushed me a lot. That's what motivated me a lot to finish, because I didn't think for a long time that I would even finish school at all.
Mm, that's great. That's so cool. So now, I mean, you're able to kind of reflect back on professors that you had who were encouraging you and motivating you and seeing those things in you. And now, are you able to see that in your own students and kind of, are you able to kind of, talk about that a little bit? That's kind of a reflection. Are you able to kind of take that forward with you?
Yes. So right now I teach first grade. I looped with the students that I had last year in kindergarten. So when I see my kids struggling, like we're doing, well, this really hard math. And if you know math now, it's not the math that we learned when we were younger. And a lot of times I see students that feel like they can't do it. So, all students need is just a little cheerleader. They just need a little nudge, a little love and a little push, and they can do it. So, I think what I got from Manor, the motivation, the push, the cheerleaders, that's kind of what I embody now because I've realized as an adult that's all these children need is just a cheerleader. That's it.
Right, little love, little push, but, having you there, you were a kindergarten teacher last year, now you're a first grade teacher, so having those kids have, like, 2 years of, Miss
Mhm.
Watts is pretty cool, like, that's really neat, and pretty unique too, I would say. A lot of students probably don't
Mhm.
have the same elementary teacher 2 years in a row, and that's gonna have an impact on them. That's for sure
Yeah.
gonna have an impact on their life. Which is really cool for you to see that. So talk to me a little bit about what was it like, going through you graduated from Manor with an associate's and then you transferred and kind of got more education. What has your education journey been like? And as you kind of think back, how did Manor play a part as the foundation to more education and more degrees and stuff?
So Manor showed me that I can accomplish things. And once I got that push, I just for the first I want to say like 2 years, I just tried to keep going, but life happens, things happen,
Mhm.
and I had to stop. I had to take a break. And so I graduated from Manor. I went to Chestnut Hill. Chestnut Hill was really hard. It was hard. It was also like, okay, I'm back at a bigger school. They're not as nurturing as Manor, so that was something that I had to adjust to. But once life happened, I had to stop going to school. I ended up working again full time, and I became a early childhood education teacher. So I worked in childcare for a very long time until after I had my son, and I think once he was 2, I went back. But then it was a online platform. So it wasn't in the class, so that was kind of like a different, setting for me, so it was more so teach yourself.
Mhm.
But, as long as I knew that I could accomplish my goals and I knew that I could do it because I did it, that's all I needed was just to keep going because I know I can do it.
Right. That's good. Sometimes like that self-motivation, like self-talk to yourself. Like you were saying how like everyone needs a little cheerleader in your life, but like you also need to be your own little cheerleader.
Mhm.
So that's really, really cool to hear that you kind of knew I know I can do it. It's just a matter of like the timing, the finances,
Right.
you need a little bit of space in your schedule to like go online and do classes and do some readings and all those things because it takes a lot and you had a baby in that time too so
I
like
did.
obviously give yourself grace for how much you have accomplished over these 12 years or so it's really impressive and major kudos to you for earning 3 degrees and coming so far in your journey. It's really cool. So talk to me about I just you're obviously a passionate educator. Why do you think education is so important, especially for the little guys that you're teaching? I think, we talk a lot about higher ed and college and I don't often get to talk to elementary school teachers. So talk to me about, why is it so important for the little ones to be pouring into them like you are?
They're our future. Those are who are going to be responsible for taking care of the world when we're older. Not only do I pour into them, I pour into my son, I pour into any child that comes into my path because it's so important that these children get the nurturing, they get the love, they get the education, they get whatever they need to be successful adults. Um Not only that, but they need kindness. They need to learn like the social emotional piece. Nowadays you see a lot of violence going on, and even in schools, and we don't you don't see now you see a lot of more you see a lot more schools teaching the social emotional piece because they have emotions just like we do. So I feel like that's why it's important to pour into them and to make sure they get what they need because they're responsible for us when we get older. Well, they get older, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we get older and they also
They get
get
older.
older. So
Yeah.
you're right. They're certainly our future. Um, and I think teaching them like social, emotional kindness and respect and dignity and ethics is really important, particularly when they're little, because like that's the foundation that they're just going to build from when they get
Right.
into high school and middle school and when the education gets harder. But if they have those core kind of values to them, that's really important. You know, a big part of our mission at Manor College is the last line in the mission. It's to educate our students who are going to serve society effectively and compassionately. And I just, as I'm hearing you talk, I'm like, Janay is doing that. She is literally living out the Manor College mission. You're serving others, you know, first graders, kindergartners, your son, whoever's in your path, really, and you're preparing them to serve society and kind of pay it forward with compassion. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for kind of being a living testament to our mission here at the college. That's really cool to see that your story got intertwined with ours back in 2012. So kind of as we finish up here, Janae, what advice would you give to Manor College students who are right now they're on spring break? You know, hopefully they're catching up on their rest and any assignments that they're missing, but who just kind of need that extra push to get to the end of the semester, who might be feeling a little weary. What advice would you give them?
Be kind to yourself. Give yourself some grace. Things happen for a reason. You can do it. Those were the key things that I needed to accomplish my goals and to still accomplish my goals. I still have to give myself grace. I still have to understand that things will happen when they happen. Um, this is not a race. We're not running a race. We're not on anybody else's time. Um, be your own cheerleader. It's good to have people around you that celebrate you and push you and cheer you on, but you have to be your own cheerleader for most of the way. That's pretty much it because those are the things that I live by every day.
Yeah, that's so great, and I think spoken so true. And regardless of what, like, your situation is right now, if you're a college student, if you're, a new parent, if you're a working professional, wherever you are in life, like, that's good advice in general. So thank you for sharing that with us. Be kind to yourselves really, I think, struck me the most. And also like it is run your own race. You know, we're not competing against others. It's on your own time. Life happens. It might take you longer. You might get there
Mhm.
shorter. You know, just give yourself the grace to still get to goal in your own time. That's really good to hear. Janae, thank you so much for being with us today. I've really enjoyed our conversation, and I hope our listeners also enjoyed and were inspired by you like I was.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in today. If you like what you heard, listen and subscribe on Spotify or YouTube and stay up to date with all new episodes of The Nest by following Manor College on Instagram at Manor College. That's a wrap on another episode of The Nest Stories about life after Manor College. Remember, Blue Jays, you belong here always.